At some point, you stop trusting yourself. Not dramatically, not all at once. It happened gradually, in small moments where your perception was questioned often enough that you began to question it yourself. You're overthinking it. You're too sensitive. That's not what happened. And eventually, without fully realizing it, you built a habit of running your instincts through a filter before acting on them, checking if they were valid, looking for evidence, asking yourself if maybe, you were wrong again. Here's what's important to understand. That habit didn't develop because your instincts were unreliable. It developed because someone needed you to believe they were. Your instincts are not the problem. The problem is what happened to your relationship with them. And that's what this video is about. Here's something counterintuitive that almost no one talks about. The more intelligent you are, the easier it is to override your own instincts. Not because smart people are naive, but because intelligence gives you the tools to construct arguments. And one of the things you can construct arguments against is yourself. When a signal appears, something feels off, a story doesn't add up, a reaction doesn't match the situation. An intelligent person doesn't just feel it. They analyze it. They look for alternative explanations. They consider context. They give benefit of the doubt, all of which are reasonable things to do. The problem is that a skilled manipulator knows this, and they use it. They don't need to suppress your instinct. They just need to give you enough reasonable-sounding material to suppress it yourself. A plausible explanation, a reframe, a counter-accusation that shifts your attention from what you felt to whether you had the right to feel it. And your intelligence does the rest. You build the case against yourself more thoroughly than they ever could. This doesn't happen in one conversation. It builds over time, through a specific pattern. It usually starts with small moments. You notice something. You mention it. And the response isn't engagement, it's dismissal. You're imagining things. You always do this. Why do you have to make everything so complicated? The first time, you push back. The second time, you're less sure. By the 10th time, you don't mention it at all. You've learned that your perception causes friction, and that the cost of trusting it is conflict. So you develop a workaround. Before acting on any signal, you run it through a series of internal checks. Is this reasonable? Am I being fair? Could I be wrong? Do I have enough evidence? What looks like self-awareness is actually self-suppression. You've internalized the dismissal. You're doing it to yourself now. They don't even have to be in the room. This is how the doubt becomes automatic. And this is why it's so hard to undo. Because from the inside, it looks like you being careful, being mature, being fair. It doesn't look like what it actually is. You having been trained to distrust yourself. Before going further, there's a distinction worth making, because it's the one people get wrong most often. Instinct and anxiety feel similar from the inside. Both create discomfort. Both create urgency. Both tell you something needs your attention. But they come from different places and point in different directions. Instinct is a signal about the present. It's clean. It's specific. It's about what's in front of you right now. Something in this story doesn't add up. This person's reaction doesn't match the situation. Something about this dynamic feels off. It doesn't spiral. It doesn't catastrophize. It just points. Anxiety is noise about the future. It's diffuse. It's about what might happen, what could go wrong, what you might lose. It pulls you out of the present and into scenarios that haven't occurred yet. The practical difference is this. If you sit quietly with the discomfort for 60 seconds without adding any story to it, instinct gets clearer. Anxiety gets louder. Instinct says, pay attention to this specific thing. Anxiety says, everything is dangerous. What if? What if? What if? Learning to tell them apart is one of the most useful skills you can develop, because it means you stop dismissing real signals as anxiety and stop mistaking anxious noise for reliable information. Recalibrating trust in your own instincts isn't a single decision. It's a practice, and it starts with one question. When a signal appears, when something feels off and you notice the urge to immediately explain it away, pause and ask, if I believe this signal right now, what would it be telling me? Don't act on it yet. Don't suppress it either. Just answer the question honestly. Let the signal complete its sentence before you decide whether to trust it. What this does is create a small gap between the signal and the suppression. That gap is where your perception starts to come back online. The second practice, start tracking. Not obsessively, just honestly. When you feel a signal and dismiss it, note what happened. When the same signal returns, note that too. Over time, you'll start to see your own pattern clearly. The signals that were right, the explanations that didn't hold, the moments where you knew before you let yourself know. The third practice, notice the cost of the dismissal. Every time you overrode a signal, something followed. Maybe nothing serious. Maybe something significant. Either way, the cost was real. Naming it, even privately, is how you start taking your own perception seriously again. None of this is fast, but all of it compounds. And the direction matters more than the speed. The goal isn't to become someone who trusts every feeling without question. That's not discernment. That's a different kind of noise. The goal is to restore the relationship, to get to a place where your instincts get a fair hearing before they get overruled, where you're the one deciding what to do with the signal, not the habit of suppression that was built by someone else's agenda. You've been living inside that habit for long enough that it probably feels like you. It isn't. It's something that was installed. And anything that was installed can be uninstalled. Tell me in the comments if something in this landed for you. The 3 questions tool I put together is directly relevant here. It's designed for exactly the moment when a signal appears and you're not sure whether to trust it. Each question helps you verify what the signal is actually pointing at. The link is in the description. The next video is about something most people never think to ask. Not what manipulation looks like, or how it works, but why it keeps happening to you specifically. Because it's not random. Manipulators don't choose their targets by accident. There are specific qualities they look for, and the same qualities that make you a good person are often the exact ones they depend on. If you've ever wondered why this keeps finding you, that's the next one. I'll see you there.